Good morning, Marianas. I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
Welcome to Hagutnia. It is 6:37 a.m. this Wednesday, the 7th of September, 2022. And before I throw it to the commercial break and I give you a little glimpse of our headlines, I first want to thank Michael Castro, who's running for a seat in the Senate of my House of Representatives. He came to Guam yesterday. He literally got off the plane. He stopped at a mobile gas station right next door where his rent-a-car had a flat tire.
Oh, wow.
Waited for Hertz or whatever company that was to come and fix his car or whatever. I didn't have a car, so I couldn't go and help him. Like, I would have, I offered, but, you know, I didn't have a car to go and help him. He brought over a case of Paradise Sun. Brought this from Saipan in his suitcase.
Thank you so much.
He brought over a case of Paradise Sun, chicken Kelaguen that is long since gone. The first time I've ever tried, and it's from Galaxy, and it was delicious. I don't even like chicken Kelaguen, but it was delicious. Manju, is that what you call it, Ole? Manju? And what kind of bean is this that's inside this? It's like shu pao, but with this bean paste that's delicious. And don't be jealous. Meiji chips. All right? Meiji chips. And so when we come back from this commercial break and eating half this bag of Meiji chips and our coffee from 76 Circle K, we'll bring you our top stories, which includes new revelations into the Michael Castro murder case, the Attorney General's... the Michael Castro murder case, which comes from the assault case that's on trial right now. An aggressive effort by the Attorney General into illegal Chinese immigration from Saipan. The Republicans embracing the Mike and Bri campaign, and another story that I cannot remember right now, but you'll get it when we come back from this commercial break.
The church.
Stick with us.
That this environment is for anybody that wants to try something new, whether it is CrossFit or powerlifting. We offer a safe space for someone who's never been athletically inclined to try something that they've never done before.
Welcome back. the key witness in the prosecution's case against Nicholas Moore for the non-fatal shooting of Brian Mendiola in the leg the evening of October 15, 2020, also was the subject of investigation in the murder of Michael Castro. The Brian Mendiola and Michael Castro cases are separate incidents which occurred about 15 days apart in 2020. Mr. Moore currently is on trial for the Mendiola case, but also is pending trial for the murder of Michael Castro. Since the trial in the Mendiola shooting began, the prosecution's case has unraveled, with defense attorney David Lujan for days now impeaching the credibility of the prosecution's key witness, Eric Salone, who was with Nicholas Moore the night Brian Mendiola was shot in the leg. According to Mr. Salone's testimony and to interviews he gave to both naval investigators and Guam police detectives, both he and Moore shot toward Mendiola the night of October 15, 2020 in Agani Heights, but that Moore shot from a .38 caliber gun and Salone shot from a .45 caliber gun. The distinction is critical to the Mendiola case because it was a .38 caliber bullet that was allegedly pulled from Mr. Mendiola's leg. The case took a turn yesterday while Mr. Lujan was cross-examining Salone about allegedly lying to investigators during a June 7, 2021 interview about the gun he used. New evidence, which the prosecution did not disclose to the defense team before trial, led Judge Alberto Tolentino to excuse the jury for the day as the lawyers hashed out what may lead to a mistrial in the Mendiola shooting case. The new evidence? A picture an investigator showed to Salone during his video-recorded interview in 2020. One of the .45 caliber gun Mr. Salone said he used during the night of the Mendiola shooting. That same gun, prosecutors told the court, is the murder weapon used to kill Michael Castro. During the initial investigation into Mr. Castro's murder, 3 sets of fingerprints were lifted from the weapon: Moore's, Troy Damian's, and a third set of prints detectives could not match until later. Those fingerprints, according to the prosecution, belong to Mr. Salone. The Attorney General has given Mr. Salone a free pass from jail time in the Mendiola case in exchange for his testimony against Nicholas Moore. The defense's entire theory of the case and its argument before the jury is that the Attorney General has charged the wrong man in the shooting and that Salone was the actual shooter. The trial is on hold while both teams argue the matter of the new evidence before Judge Tolentino, which will happen Friday morning.
Attorney General Levin Camacho is assuring the community of an aggressive effort between him and Governor Lou Leon Guerrero's task force to apprehend Chinese immigrants who have been coming to Guam illegally on boats from Saipan. Since the establishment of the task force a month ago, law enforcement have located and jailed 9 of these migrants. Quote, "I want to recognize the officers of Guam Customs and the Guam Police Department for their hard work. In a matter of weeks, the task force has located and arrested 9 individuals who unlawfully arrived in Guam," the Attorney General said. The task force includes the Guam Customs and Quarantine Agency, Guam Department of Agriculture, Guam Department of Labor, Guam Fire Department, Guam Homeland Security, the Guam Police Department, Homeland Security Investigations, the Office of the Attorney General, and Port Authority of Guam.
Judge Francis Tadinko Gatewood of the U.S. District Court of Guam issued an order calling on Pope Francis to speak personally with the nearly 300 known survivors of sexual abuse within the Archdiocese of Agana. The order, issued Tuesday, follows an August 26 hearing in the lone Guam federal lawsuit on clergy abuse filed against the Holy See, the political jurisdiction governed by the Pope himself. The case, DM versus Holy See, will determine whether Vatican City may be made to pay damages to DM for clergy abuse DM alleges the Vatican knew about and aided in the cover-up that ensued. The Holy See made a motion to dismiss for lack of subject matter jurisdiction, lack of personal jurisdiction, insufficient service of process, and failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. At the August 26 hearing, Judge Tadinko Gatewood asked the Pope's lawyers 2 questions. 1. In light of the plaintiff's earnest attempts to serve the Holy See, if the court finds improper service but permits the plaintiff to attempt service once more, is the Holy See amenable to accepting service of process through any of its attorneys? And 2, whether Pope Francis is inclined to meet with all the Guam plaintiffs who alleged abuse at the hands of church clergy or laypersons to discuss a global settlement. The judge wrote, quote, The court orders counsel for the Holy See to file a post-hearing response indicating whether counsel has conferred with the Holy See about the two questions, and if so, what is the Holy See's response to the court's questions. Counsel's response shall be filed no later than September 13, 2022. End quote.
The Republicans are on the move, capitalizing on an eerie silence within the Democratic Party of Guam and capturing unicorn voters on their march to Adelu. Since the primary election results in the early morning hours of August 28, former Governor Felix Camacho and Senator Tony Addit told Kandit the team has been making phone calls and paying visits to Guamanians who voted for Michael Saniclas and Sabrina Salas Metanani. Their general election opponents and the team that beat Saniclas and Metanani in the primary, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio, have chosen a different path. According to Lou and Josh's 2022 campaign manager, Rory Respicio, the governor has not called Mr. Saniclas as she is honoring a public request Mr. Saniclas made for time and space as his team reflects on the election. That time and space has been filled by the Republicans.
We're extremely grateful and for the grace of God, that He brought us together. As you know, we're family, and we got together and talked as friends and family. Mm-hmm. We certainly did. We did talk a bit about the election and the electorate and the low voter turnout and such. But other than that, it was really a time to just get together and, for me to share also with my life experiences, going back to my father, Carlos Camacho, the former governor, the late governor of Guam, last appointed, first elected governor. And I remember the 1974 election where he eventually lost to Ricky Bordallo in a runoff. And as a sophomore in high school, the experience I felt, and that loss was really hard on a young man, like that. I was about roughly 15 years old or so at that time. And
I retired from politics, and I told Governor Felix I look up to him because he went 8 years as a governor. He saw that. The island was in ruin, and slowly, one day at a time, he rebuilt the island. All those beautiful new schools, the police stations in the north and the south. Governor Felix and me had something in common. We both decided we got to focus on affordable housing. He rebuilt the island.
Ecclesiastes says, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good. For those who are called according to His purpose. Together, we answered that call. All of you did. We rolled up our sleeves and did honest work. I have seen our island in good seasons, and I have seen our island in bad seasons. As a man of faith, I will tell you that it is biblical that good times prevail under good leadership, and bad times prevail under bad leadership. In those 16 years under Republican conservative leadership, it didn't matter if you were in or out. For those who were willing to help, we worked together on solutions that took our island from a deep recession to prosperity, and we improved the quality of life for all our people. It is time for a great people again. It is time to answer the call to help our people. It is time for a new season. It is time for Camacho Ana. Viva Republican! Viva Guam! Situus Masi! God bless you!
Kandit planned to ask Ms. Leon Guerrero and Mr. Tenorio what message they have for the Saniclas Salas Metanani supporters at an interview that was scheduled for Wednesday afternoon. However, Lou and Josh campaign informed Kandit that the island's leaders had to shift scheduling conflicts and needed to postpone the interview. We instead await a written response from the island's leaders to that and other questions regarding the general election. In the meantime, speculation is whirling that either San Nicolas, Metanani, or both of them may announce their support for the Republicans at their upcoming gathering for supporters.
I saw a lot of Democrats in that video, and a lot of people who. This is becoming an exciting general election season between two exciting candidates for governor, and this race for Adelup is heating up, and it's probably going to get more heated tomorrow. Tomorrow is that gathering that they're talking about. It's Bell's Lounge. Is it Bell's Lounge?
Good times.
Good times.
Good
It's at Good
times.
Times, where Michael San Nicolas and Sabrina Salas Matsunani are going to be there to thank their supporters, and there's speculation that there's going to be some kind of announcement that's made to the supporters there, and so we'll see. We're going to talk about the gubernatorial election when we come back from this short commercial break, and we're also going to talk about a very special wedding anniversary today. Stick with us when we come back from this break. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Today is a very special wedding anniversary, and let me intro this by saying that last night I went to the Novena next door at 5 o'clock, followed by the Mass, and I was sitting on the left side, the left wing of the church, and I saw a very familiar face to all of us, former First Lady Jerry Gutierrez. And so afterward, I was walking toward the building and come back to the office, and she was walking toward her car, and I was like, "Hi, First Lady." And she goes, "Hey," and she's speaking in Chamorro.
Yeah.
But she was just so warm and so nice. And I was like, "Can I get a selfie with you?" And she's like, "Yes, of course." And then she said, tomorrow is my my 60th wedding anniversary with Carl. That's what she said.
Beautiful.
And I said, "Oh, First Lady, happy anniversary." It is her 60th wedding anniversary with former Governor Carl Gutierrez, who is actually in Japan working on tourism right now. And we have some pictures. I think we have a wedding photo of the two. There they are, 60 years ago today.
Wow.
But she's beautiful. He's handsome. What a handsome man. And here they are in a more recent photo.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Governor Gutierrez and First Lady Gutierrez. Love it. Love it. Happy anniversary to you both. Now, today, our main agenda, we were supposed to have an interview with the Lou and Josh campaign at 1:30 p.m. at Asiga, but that had to be shifted, and so it's postponed. We're going to wait for Governor Leon Guerrero to come back to Guam. She's going off island, I believe, this weekend, and we'll be back sometime next week or the week after. I need to talk to Roy Respicio about that. But we're promised the first dibs at an interview when she comes back from her trip. But at 11 a.m. today, we're actually going to be over at the Hilton Guam Resort and Spa at the Micronesian Ballroom, where the Guam Chamber of Commerce will be hosting the first gubernatorial forum of the general election season, and we're going to be covering that live. Afterward, I'm still waiting for confirmation from Dr. Ron McNinch on whether we're going to have a post-debate post-debate analysis. I want to take him to KFC and try out the Korean fried chicken.
I know. I think I'm going to get that for dinner tonight.
It looks pretty good, right? So I'm going to try it out. I want to treat Dr. McNinch to some Korean fried chicken over at KFC and chow down while we're having a post-debate analysis.
I really like
happened.
Dr. McNinch.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's got to listen to Dr. McNinch because he's always right. Always right. So we'll see whether we'll have a post-debate analysis, but we'll definitely bring you live from the Hilton Guam the gubernatorial forum between Governor Leon Guerrero and former Governor Felix Camacho, which is sure to be exciting. Yeah. Both of them have proven that they can debate, they can be charming and charismatic, and that they can throw down. I remember back in 2002 and 2006 when Governor Camacho was running for governor and when he was running for re-election, he was just a master at debating. And I can only imagine that as he has grown wiser in the years, that he's probably honed those skills. Especially, I believe he's been like a pastor or like a associate pastor or whatever of a church, so he has these oratory skills. Governor Leon Guerrero, we saw in this election season, has been masterful at being able to debate
and demand attention.
Absolutely, and so this is sure to be something to watch. Make sure you tune in to Kandit at around 11 a.m. I think
11-ish.
It's 11-ish because the chamber has to do their whole thing,
their
and
spiel.
then their spiel. They're going to be eating. It's going to be kind of annoying because you're going to hear silverware clattering, right? When you went to the AG forum, right, Zach? It was kind of like that. Is there any way that we can filter that stuff out? I know Eric said to bring the big camera to that one. Is that big camera going to be able to filter out any of that background noise so that our audience isn't annoyed by it? We would have to what? We would have to be close with the microphone? Oh, okay. Okay, so you would clean it up and repost it or whatever? Oh, okay. Never mind. It's okay. We can deal with the clattering, I guess. It is a lunch. It's a luncheon forum thing that the chamber is doing up. I'm going to guess we're going to hear things about taxes and the economy and all that kind of good stuff. Let's see where the candidates stand. And Decision 2022, here is your first forum of the general election season.
Get these in-depth stories at candidnews.com.
And please join us in turning our attention now to the only morning show of any consequence or significance on Guam every weekday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. It's the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 FM on your radio dial. Where we watch it is on Facebook Live at The Point Guam, but you can also watch it on YouTube Live on the Ray Gibson Show. For Kandit News, I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
Good morning, Marianas.
The Jones Act is a 1920 law justified on national security grounds as a means to bolster the U.S. maritime industry. It restricts domestic shipping to vessels that are U.S. built, U.S. owned, U.S. flagged, and U.S. crewed. However, this law boosts cost by banning foreigners from competing and forcing Americans to purchase ships that are up to 8 times more expensive than those built in other countries. The result is higher transportation costs. Shipping oil from Texas to the Northeast, for example, costs 3 times more than importing oil from Africa. Ultimately, consumers foot the bill. In addition, higher shipping costs push freight from ships onto other sources of transportation, such as trucks, which means more traffic and pollution. Meanwhile, this blatant protectionism has failed to benefit builders of ships in the U.S., whose production is less than 1% of those in China and South Korea. Domestic builders have seen over 300 shipyards close since the early 1980s. Jones Act defenders claim the law ensures adequate U.S. ships during times of war, but during U.S. deployments during Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm, foreign-flagged commercial ships carried twice as much equipment as their U.S. counterparts. In fact, the U.S. was so desperate for shipping that it twice requested the use of a cargo ship from Moscow. Both requests were denied. So the Jones Act has failed to achieve its shipbuilding and national security goals while driving up costs for consumers. It's time for this outdated, costly, and ineffective law to be repealed. It's time to end the Jones Act.